Hey everyone, happy Friday afternoon. So I'm Jody from Healing Journey, founder of the Holistic Anxiety Fix. And what I'm going to talk to you about today is how to understand your symptoms of anxiety and what they might mean for you. Because I work with women who struggle with anxiety, and one of my main missions is to help women, probably like yourself if you're watching this, to understand the root causes of anxiety and heal from it so that they can embrace life with calm confidence. So, I've had quite an experience with anxiety myself, and so I bring to the table that experience with anxiety, as well as really thinking about my role as a therapist. I have a master's in social work, and I've worked with people in private practice, and I bring a health perspective in because I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. And so what that means is that when I look at healing anxiety, I look at it from what does it mean to be in your shoes, because I've been there. What can we bring in from a mental health perspective, and what can we bring in from a biological perspective? And all of this is incorporated into my holistic anxiety fix. But let's get to what we're talking about today, which is symptoms of anxiety. And so, I have a private Facebook group that I offer healing anxiety holistically for women. This is one of my free groups. And in that group, I asked the women to share some of the symptoms that they have experienced with anxiety. And I will tell you that the experiences of anxiety are super broad. My experience of anxiety is going to be different than your experience of anxiety, is going to be different than your friend's experience of anxiety. And that's what's really, really interesting about anxiety, is we've just labeled it, and it's a cluster of lots of different symptoms. And so you get a group of people who have a racing heart, difficulty concentrating. We get physiological experiences of anxiety. So the panic attacks, the sweating, palms. We have people who are dizzy, a lot of physical expression of anxiety. And then you get the other kind of anxiety or experience of it, where you're getting the racing thoughts or the looping thoughts, or worry that you can't stop. So you're worrying about, what's going to happen in the future. Or am I going to get COVID? Or if I go here, is this going to happen? Or, worst case scenarioing it. And then, you have somebody who is very afraid of specific things. So those are specific phobias. And so the expression of anxiety is quite broad. And one of the reasons the expression of anxiety is so broad is because the root causes of anxiety are also really broad, because there's no one root cause of anxiety. My root causes of anxiety, what were causing me heart palpitations and an upset nervous system, might be very different than what's causing you anxiety, right? And so this is why one of the most important questions we can ask is, what are underneath the anxiety? What are some of the things that's causing it? And when I think about root causes, we think about it from two different perspectives. Are root causes external to us? So is it stress and things that are going on in our lives? Or are root causes something that are internal? So something that are biologically creating this really big disconnect for our nervous system. And so it can really look at it, you can look at it from either angle. When we're thinking about, how a lot of society characterizes anxiety, they're going to look at just your symptoms. So you're going to be diagnosed with anxiety because of X number of symptoms that are really significantly impacting your life. They're not going to ask what's underneath those symptoms. They're just going to look at symptoms. When we look at it from a conventional medical perspective, the goal is, let's look at the symptoms again, and we want to treat the symptoms. So we're going to treat those symptoms until you get rid of them. But one of the big questions that's missing again is, what is underlying those symptoms? Why are they there? Why do you have them? And so, this may be something that you're struggling with, where you've gone to all of these different places and you've gone to seek help, and nobody, think about it, in your journey, has anybody asked you what is underlying your symptoms? And, have you asked that yourself? Because our symptoms are actually our messages from our body to listen up, to dive deeper, to start asking questions, to shift something, because something in our bodies is out of balance. So if you have, for example, a racing heart, it could be because you're low in potassium. It could be because you have histamine issues. It could be because you have mold issues. It could be that you have Lyme interacting with your nervous system. It might be that gluten has done a number on your nervous system because you have undiagnosed celiac disease. It could be that there's a worm living inside of you and your body is panicking. It could be that you have oxalate issues. So you're starting to see all of these root causes for one symptom, right? So you can't diagnose me with a heart palpitation disorder, but I can start to ask the questions, so what is underlying it? The same thing with racing thoughts. We can do exactly the same thing. Are there certain infections like Clostridium infections that are preventing breakdown of dopamine that are creating those racing thoughts? Is there mold exposure that's creating those racing thoughts? Is your gut a hot mess and leading to those racing thoughts? So these are all really, really important questions. And if you want to know more onto how to dig deep and manage your anxiety without taking medication, how to get to those root causes, one of the things that you can do is you can sign up for the masterclass that I'm offering. And it's going to be Tuesday. I'm just going to post the link in the comments. So it's going to be Tuesday at 7:00 p.m. EST. It's free, and it's going to be an amazing deep dive for you to check this out. If you're watching on Instagram, you can just click the link at the top. Okay, have a lovely afternoon.